the paradigm of bones, for them to move, there needs to be a little gap between them, right? A little space between them so that they can articulate. Ligament can carry movement through it without there needing to be a gap. So the ligaments actually carry the information that the bones are carrying across a joint. They allow for some movement without, in theory, getting so movable that they can't do their job of transmitting force or directing things too. Which is one of the issues we run into when we stretch things out. And if we set out to stretch a ligament, or if we're just born hypermobile, which for some people, the chemistry of their connective tissue is just such that they are more flexible in terms of how much the connective tissue can stretch, can extend, that it can go a certain distance and it doesn't stop you until something like this. I'm doing this with my fingers like this. These are hypermobile. I have hypermobile joints where the connective tissue lets me go further than where neutral is. So I can go past where there's a clear pathway of weight through the joints, which is what some hyperextending, elbow hyperextending. And that hypermobility can come from, it's something it can be genetic, so it can be part of your kind of physiological chemistry, biochemistry. And in that case, it's usually a system-wide thing, like you'll be hypermobile everywhere. You can also develop it in particular joints by working really hard on moving one thing, or overstretching a ligament, or ligament sprains, like turning your ankle or something like that, or habitually moving in such a way that all of the force is going kind of on a tangent into the ligament rather than going through the ligament. We can get joint-specific hypermobility also, right? But part of what ligaments are doing is they're helping us keep balanced joint space so that we don't have that wear and tear that leads to arthritis. So, so their job is to maintain that relationship, and if they get really mobile, it's harder to do that. One of the things, and sometimes a compensation for, is in muscles, right? And people can build muscular strength to make up for, to compensate for the ligamentous laxity. I also think that by cultivating this awareness of the bones and the pathway through the bones, that we're helping the ligaments do their job in a sense of awakening the tissue to its aliveness, in a way. And the ligaments, again, they don't contract, but the more alive it is and the more blood supply it has, the better it can heal. So if it does get overstretched, and you don't continue to overstretch a ligament, if you let it be at its functional and not overstretched length, it will eventually heal or go back to a more functional length. And it's a lot like a plastic grocery bag, where if you overstretch it, it stays overstretched. It's not like a rubber band. Muscles are more like rubber bands that come back. But that grocery bag, if you were to flatten it back out, maybe heat it up a little bit, put something on it, and leave it there for a while, it might eventually go back and get a little bit of its original shape back. It depends partly on what kind of plastic the bag is.